Bum bum. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
I don't know what you're singing, but it's fun.
Oh, it's some. I think it's like an underground. I think it's like an underground theme from one of the Marios. Maybe it's three.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
I got
I
you.
was. I've had Phil Collins stuck in my head earlier today.
Hey, I will never ever cut you down for that, man.
Oh, I know. I was driving back from our last job, and it's just me and one of my coworkers in the car, and I'm driving, and I'm just like, really, really, don't you lose my number?
Cause
'Cause
you're
I'm
not
not
anywhere.
anywhere that I can find. And he's kind of like half humming along, and he's like, "What is that?" I mean, he's 25, which is not bad. He a little bit younger,
A little
but
bit
I was like,
younger.
"Oh yeah, yeah, it's Phil Collins." Phil Collins, yeah, that's. He's like, so you got Phil Collins stuck in your head? I said, yeah, and he's like, oh, I feel bad for you. I was like, don't. I like it. I'll just switch to another song if I get tired of it.
Yep. Yep. Oh man, I mean, I was just I could groove on Phil Collins all day, and usually I do. Oh, I just got it on there too. Hey, Barber, how are you? We
There's
are
that.
live. Ah, yes, Draven. Yeah, actually, we were derps because it was actually our 5-year anniversary last week. It was
Bro.
the day of
Oh,
it.
you're right. It was. Ah,
And I didn't even look it up. I
dang
went
it.
back to iTunes and I looked up when the pilot episode launched, and it was the 11th of May, 2012. Dupes.
Well then.
Yay, tornadoes are done. Thank you. I'm so glad to know, because I was seeing those Kansas, Oklahoma. That was kind of scary stuff.
Oh yeah. So our birthday, the show's birthday is Draven's birthday too.
The show's birthday is Draven's birthday,
Yeah.
and tomorrow is your birthday.
It is.
It's
Yay.
Marconin's birthday. Marconin can see Spike right now.
Yes, I can. Hello, Spike, king of the castle.
He is king of the castle. Aloha.
Okay.
Hi, Saphira.
Yeah, Barbara, I will be careful. I'm glad you guys are safe. So definitely glad for that. I need to check and see if it's going to track north of us, though.
Are you
Usually
expected to have storms tomorrow?
It's been on and off the last couple of days.
Us too.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Woo, that might come over. Yeah, that's probably going to hit us overnight. If it does, I don't know, depending on how fast it goes. Thank you, Draven. Thank you, Zafira.
Happy birthday, Bubba
Thank you.
Conan.
Yes.
So what number is this one?
34. 34.
34.
Yeah. Big old 3-4.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to the page to see the weather, and I start to scroll down to get the Doppler, and it shows this weather headlines, and it's this picture of this person who's covered in bloody welts all over their body. It is gross looking, and then right underneath it says, "Why you need to take care during large hail and take it seriously."
Is that
Well,
weather.com?
Yeah,
I know.
it's dumb.
Their site
they
is
have the-
awful.
It is. I just wanted the weather map. I don't care about that. So they moved it because usually it's farther down, but now it's to the right.
The other day, because I was checking it while
goodness,
we were.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were having storms here too, and so I always checked it. They had this massive bug thing that someone was holding, and it was just flopping around, and I'm like, why is this on the Weather Channel website? This is a bug.
Gross.
Oh, so nasty.
Thanks, Traven. I really only go because I don't know of another one that does the predictive. I know Weather Underground they have the maps and everything, and it's very official looking and it's good. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it looks like the weather's tracking northeast, or more north than northeast. So it's going, that weather system that hits you, Barbara's heading up into Missouri. So it'll hit like the northwest corner of Arkansas, but I'm going to be in the clear unless something weird happens. So we're okay.
Are they predicting that tonight, or you talking tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tonight. This goes. I may get some rain, maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. Yeah, maybe 2 in the morning, but most of it is like swooshing. I guess on the camera this way, it's like going up, and it's going to skirt past me.
Nice job, Draven. Diva play awesome.
Ooh, I haven't played her yet in Heroes.
She is so funny to watch. Like, I love, especially the bunny hop ult is hilarious.
Oh, it is, yeah.
So funny. I giggle every single time. It's like that bunny hop where you're just like bam, 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 bam. Oh, so fun. I have not played her, but I had the best time. On Tuesday, Oddish was streaming and she was getting ready to play Diva for Hero League, but she needed to level her up to 5 in quick match. So she texted me and said, are you available to play on stream until I get to level 5? And I was like, sure. So I played with her and some of her friends in the afternoon. So we were like wrecking face. It was so much fun. Like, I was like, this is so much fun. I played support the whole time and just had a blast.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Oh, that is cool. I need to get. I need to get in there and get at least 5 more games in, because I do want the Overwatch mount.
Yeah, you need to get
it. Emblem mount. Like the 10 loot boxes, that's awesome. I think that they're going to do something for the anniversary. Well, I know the anniversary event starting on the 23rd, which is why they're giving you till the 22nd to finish it. And on top of that, Pokemon Go has an event that's going on for the next week. And I think Monday is the only day that they get to do this.
So many things to do.
So many things, I know. It's awesome.
Yeah, you saw the emails about switching our Patreon call or match to Wednesday. Okay, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine by me.
That won't actually work.
Oh, because of the
we can. If we could do it before the show would start, we would just do it for the hour and then go to the show. We could
that's what I was wondering.
Yep,
okay,
we could still do it.
I'm cool with it if you're cool with it.
Yeah, well, it's just, the week is packed with stuff, and we got to get stuff done before the month ends. So
yeah, especially by Thursday.
Yeah.
Of next week.
It's so exciting.
Thursday.
Yes. So
something's going to happen.
We'll play for an hour, and then we'll be like, okay, time for show.
Okay, time for show. Give me just 5 minutes to get a drink, and then we go, hey, how's it going, guys? We're back.
Let's go have a show.
Let's do it. Oh, man, oh, man.
So how's everybody doing today? How's your Thursday going? How's your week going? Can you see him sitting there? I don't know if you can see.
I can see.
You can see his back. Yeah.
I can see just a little orange and a little bit of white.
Yep, that's his back.
Little fluff.
He's just kind of sitting there staring at me. Hopefully he will not meow too much tonight because he's been doing.
Oh
this.
Yeah. Meow. Well, that'll work. When I got home, it was a pretty. Even though most of my day is not like strenuous, like just lifting and physical, like the times that it is, it really is. And then I get times where I sit in the car for a while or the truck, and then I get tired. And so by the time I finally get home, because I have like a half hour, well, not a half hour, but like 15, 20-minute commute home, if the traffic's good. And I get home and then I'm just tired. So I laid down in the bed, and the dog was on a pillow right next to me, and I'd forgotten Pixie had run in. She's not supposed to be in there, but she ran in. I didn't see her. So when I felt a little pause on my back, that was a little surprising because she jumped on the bed silently. And all of a sudden I hit like cold toe beans on my back. I'm like, huh? Who is this? What is this? Who is this? Because I'm looking at the dog. The dog's right by my head. And then here's the cat. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it's a little party. And then she just lays on my back. She just like plops down. I'm like, okay, you can stay in here for a little while because you're being cute. You're not clawing up anything.
And Dad's a sucker.
So you're good. I can't help it.
I know, she's so cute.
She is. She's very adorable and just kind of laying there. So that was fun.
All right, let's
Fun
test
little
out
nap.
sounders. Let's see. We'll do this one.
You face Jaraxxus, Eladar Lord of the Burning Legion.
Burning Legion.
Yes.
Yes. There we go. Looks like it goes through just fine. And we'll ready check our lovely chat room.
Ready check.
Are you guys ready for a show? I'm in control here, demon.
It is I, Wilfred Fizzlebag, Grand Warlock of the Alliance.
We're so ready. We're so ready. Colin says we're ready. So ready.
Fear our readiness.
Marconin, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready. I know I'm ready. Chat room's ready. Let's do this thing, all right? Okay.
All right.
All right. Episode 231 of Tauren Think Tank begins in 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to Tauren Think Tank, the podcast about the Blizzard gamer behind the keyboard.
It's episode 231 of Tauren Think Tank. Today is Thursday, May 18th of 2017. It is 8:11 p.m. Central Standard Time. Daylight time. I'll get that right at some point. I could just say Central Time and not have to worry about it anymore. My name is Jules. As always, with me is the man with a plan and a clock on his chest. It's Marconin.
Hey, Jules, yeah. Actually, this is the Back to the Future shirt that I wore the first day we met in person.
I remember that shirt.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm bringing it back, the nostalgia and the time machine for the show today.
I'm bringing it back. Well, we are bringing it back because we talked a little bit about this last show. And what we didn't realize, because I had to go look it up, was that when we recorded last week, episode 230 was actually our actual 5-year anniversary. 5 years of Triple T.
Yep.
Oops. I've been thinking all this time that it was like around the 18th. Nope. It was the 11th. That was when episode 1 was posted. Episode 1 was posted in 2012. And so I saw that today and I just went, derp. And later that year, was it that year or it was 2014? It was 2013 is when I met you. 2013, so the next year. A lot has happened in 5 years, and so we'll just
has.
Let's just say happy 5-year anniversary, Triple T.
Yeah, happy 5-year and 7-day anniversary, guys.
Yeah. Kind of missed it, and I guess nobody would be mad because we were both the ones that missed it.
Yeah, well, we'll do a better job at 10 years. Okay, we'll do a better job at 10 years.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I guess I tend to like the number milestones. I guess, time is also a very good measurement. But when you've said, slash moo everybody, 500 times, let's say, for the 500th episode, that's a big deal, 300
It really
times.
is.
I mean, we're at 231 episodes. I mean, 300 is a big deal. Like, I think that
it really
is a
is.
milestone more than the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we've been doing. That's what a lot of shows do. They'll do the number of the episodes as opposed to just the calendar anniversary because, the day of the week changes every year, so you're not necessarily recording on the day, which, funny enough, with all of our day changes, we ended up on the 5th.
I know.
5th year day of it, but
It's so funny that we did that.
That's all right though. We'll blow it out of the park for 300. Let's just go with that.
I know we've got a while to go yet, but that's okay. We can work with it.
Yeah. We got some time, folks. We got some time.
And speaking of milestones, there is a milestone that is approaching within the next 4 hours from now, which is the turning of the date to May 19th, which happens to be the certain day of birth for our dear Marconin.
Yeah. Time waits for no one, and my birthday's tomorrow.
Your birthday's tomorrow. Yay!
Yeah.
Happy birthday a little early.
Thank you. I'm already getting Aussie birthday wishes from MacGyver and others that are down under, because it's already tomorrow there. So it's pretty cool to get birthday wishes, several hours before the day starts for me, but it's pretty cool. And so I'm looking forward to it. I have to work most of the day, but from what I hear, it's an easy day at work according to our plans. So that'll be cool. And thanks to early birthday present from Mama Conan, I bought my tickets for Nerdtacular, the flight. So I'm officially coming now to Nerdtacular, so I could go. It's now official.
That's
finally
incredible.
Like 5 or 6 weeks to go. So yeah, I'm excited.
That's incredible. That means I'm going to see you at the end of June.
I know. I can see everybody. It's going to be good.
So cool. And so yeah, it's hard to wrap my head around the fact that we will be going to Nerdtacular in about a month and a half. It's just,
I know.
There's so much going on right now. So it's just like,
it is.
Yeah.
I know it's getting crunch time for that little shindig that we put together in November that we're going to start doing some fundraising for in the next, week. So watch out for that.
7 days from now.
7 days.
Oh, lordy. There's so much to do yet, but we're getting there and it's getting closer and it's really exciting. The Kickstarter for the CTR party is what we're talking about, and that will be launching a week from today, which means that we have a schedule change for next week. We'll say it now. We'll remind you again at the end of the show. We are going to record the show on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Central instead of Thursday night at 8 o'clock Central, because the Kickstarter launches on Thursday. So we need to do a stream to kick it off and tell everybody, answer questions, tell everybody what's happening, what we planned. So to make way for that, we are going to just move our show day for this 1 week. And it will be on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Central at twitch.tv/Tauren Think Tank. So there we go.
Same bat channel. Not same bat time, though.
Yeah. Time, yes. Date, no.
Time, yes. Date, no. Yes. That's what it is.
Yes. So what else has been happening? What's shaking in your neck of the woods?
Let's see. Gosh. Mostly, most of my attention's been paid towards getting used to the new job, because it's very familiar to me. Because it's funny, because when you're in one company long enough, it's like 7.5 years for me. You learn skills as you go up, and as I'm going up all these levels, just one set of skills builds towards the next, and it's like just piling on. Yeah. And that was one of the reasons why they hired me, is because they didn't really have to train me much, not on the basics. It's just logistical stuff. Like I have more responsibilities now, so I have a work phone, a work computer, like a laptop I have to take with me, and so learning all that stuff is brand new. But the actual get your hands dirty and work, I already know like 80% of it already. So it's still very familiar, but it's just learning all the ins and outs. And I'm just kind of the guy sitting off to the side, like, yes, I do work here. Yes, I do know what I'm doing, but yeah, I'm not ready yet, but I'm watching. So it's, it's going all right, and I'm learning the ropes. The guys on my team are giving me more responsibility. They're showing me how to do things, and they're like, here, take the lead on this. Okay, well, then I have to go do it. So it's just getting used to the flow of how we do it and just working out all the bugs as we go. And it's a pretty cool experience. I really like it. I like getting up and going to work in the morning, which has been something I haven't consistently done for a very long time.
Right.
So, it's one of those things that I'm enjoying what I'm doing on the whole, even though I get kind of anxious and like I'm going to mess something up, like, oh goodness. And I feel like I'm just going to, and I get very stressed out, but it passes pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. But on the whole, yeah, it's going pretty well, and I'm glad I'm doing what I'm doing. It's kind of cool, and I take a step back and I think about it. It's just kind of, well, I like it. So that's a majority of what's been going on with me. I've gotten sucked in. I finally started watching 11/22/63 on
Ooh.
Hulu. And because, like we said before, Back to the Future shirt, I love time travel. It's my favorite type of media to see or read is time travel stories. And I've always wanted to read the book, but I never got around to, and I didn't have Hulu until recently, so I'm just now digging in.
Sure.
And man, is it good. I'm liking it. I may start reading the book after I finish this because it's just it's hitting all the buttons for me for time travel stuff. I'm loving it. So yeah, just doing good. On Tuesday, our buddy Nevar, who raids with us sometimes, he also does raids on Tuesday nights with Convert to Mythic. And they took myself and RLA, who's on our raid on our raid team too, and took us through heroic Nighthold. They did a full clear.
Nice.
And I wanted to see it, and so did she. And so thank you, Nevar. Thank you, Kleptic. Goodness, Apasha was there. Bree, everybody that's on Convert to Mythic that came. Thank you so much for having us. It was awesome. I know it's a big AP farm for those guys, but it was just cool to see all the fights for us. It was like, yeah, I did it. I got carried, but I did it. So that was fun. And it was just good to see it. And of course, a couple of those fights, I died right away. I was like, okay, I didn't stand in that. What's this new thing? Oh, I'm dead. Well, I guess that's the heroic mechanic there.
At that point, they don't really care because they're already, they're taking right through it. But that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. I got a couple pieces of loot too, so it wasn't a wash or anything that way. Got a lot of AP for that too. So yeah, it was a good night. It was a very good night to sit in and enjoy it, and get to talk to those guys over there. And so thank you again, Convert to Mythic, for that. That was awesome. But yeah, that's about all I've had time for the last week. Just getting all that stuff in. But so what about you? How was your week? I know you've really kicked the creativeness into overdrive, and you're sharing it with a lot of us.
Yeah.
So
so
that's really cool.
I didn't expect. So Marconin is talking about the chainmail hobby that has kind of taken over my free time, which is an interesting thing to think about. I've been enjoying it so much. It's so much fun to make things. And over the weekend, I was just making stuff as I was watching HGC. And I made a bracelet in the colors of Farah from Overwatch. It was inspired by her colors. And I loved it. It was turquoise, it was gold, it was silver. It was really cool. And I posted it up on my Etsy site. And I said, and I shared it on Twitter and Instagram. And within 30 minutes, it sold.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like, holy crap. Like, that was awesome. And so I messaged the buyer and thanked them for their order. And he knew who I was. I was unfortunately not familiar with him. But he said, how did you know? Like, Farrah is my girl. And so he purchased the bracelet. I made some adjustments to the length for him because he needed it just to be a touch bigger. And his girlfriend, his lady friend, purchased one for herself. So there was another two.
Awesome.
And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And so I'm just like, and then our dear friend Turarts wound up buying one of my other pieces and says, I'd really like to get some earrings to match it. And I'm like, well, I've never done earrings, but what the heck? Let me find some hooks online. Let me order some of those, and let me make some earrings. And so I did, and it was awesome. And in the meantime, I was commissioned to do a lanyard for somebody, and people are like asking for more stuff, which is amazing. And in the interim, our dear friend Nevermore, who I do Slaying Demons with, has been preparing for Phoenix Comic-Con, where she vendors crafts and things that she makes there, but she's always preparing like at the last minute beforehand. She's talked about this on the show many times. And she asked me, she said, Jules, I would like to see if I could stream with you because it might help me motivate me to do more stuff. And so we made all these plans and we're like, okay, on Sunday, we're going to stream. And we set it up, we got it all ready, and her computer couldn't handle the load of the streaming at first.
Oh, man.
She has a really old computer, and so we're like, no! Long story short, we did some finagling, we figured stuff out, and we were able to at least get her onto a stream to be able to like get a camera working. That's all she could do. Like her computer could just handle that and nothing more. But
yeah,
we've been successfully doing Twitch streams, like joint Twitch streams of doing our crafting stuff. And I streamed for 6 hours on Sunday.
Oh, goodness.
I cannot tell you how exhausting that was. And we had so much fun. We had all these people in the chat room. We were hanging out, playing good music. We were talking with all these people. And I was having so much fun. And so, but I have to give props to because when we do this show, we're probably on from start to finish about 2 hours. And I'm usually pretty wiped out after that.
Yeah.
And 6 hours, I was like, I am so tired. I was just so wiped out. And I said, I have such an understanding and appreciation for people who Twitch stream full time, because it is exhausting.
Yeah.
Exhausting. But I am, having a blast. We will be streaming again this weekend. So if you wanted to check it out, you can check out me. It's twitch.tv/JulesRPG. It's the same as my Twitter. So it's just fun. I play a bunch of 80s music, sometimes a little 90s hip hop. And we just rock it out and have fun. So I've been doing that. I'm starting to realize that I'm going to be moving in a couple weeks. My brain is finally. I trying to wrap my head around that, because it's just I've been so elbow deep in mortgage paperwork with the bank that today we locked the interest rate. Today we finally said it's done. And so I was just so because Marconin's wow, your living room looks a little bit different because my printer's out and there's all these papers all over the place. And it's just I know it's a mess. But I will be moving. So there may be a bit of a disruption with us recording the second week in June, the third week in June, depending on. We'll kind of keep you guys posted.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too disruptive, but we'll see. So that has been what was going on with us. Again, just a quick reminder, next week we will record on Wednesday because of the CTR Party Kickstarter that's coming up. So a little bit of a schedule change for 1 week. And with that, let's get into the show with a discussion topic, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's kick around some ideas, not gnomes.
Poor Gnomey Gnome.
It never gets any easier.
It doesn't. It really just doesn't. So we are going to talk about, actually this discussion topic came from our Discord. We haven't talked about it for a while, and I think it's a good thing we're going to kind of hit it from a slightly different angle, I think, too. This suggestion came from Memeth in our Discord, talking about fear. Unfortunately for Memeth, there was a shooting in his neighborhood, right in his neighborhood, his apartment complex, and it triggered this conversation about fear. And when your circumstances change dramatically, drastically, startlingly, traumatically, when they change, and how do you work through that? In addition, fear in general. I think there's many different parts to fear, and there's a lot of different aspects of it. So we'll kind of talk about all of them tonight. Starting with the most extreme, I think, and that is the situation that we were given for this show. Everything is fine in your life, things are normal, things are every day, and something happens that just takes you out of your complete comfort zone. And it is frightening. It is you can't understand it. There's no reason for it. So I also think about a great example. Both of us have been through this car accident. When you've been in a car accident And then you've got to get back into your car or a car to drive once again.
Yeah.
It has been a while since I've gotten in a car accident. I got hit, was it 2013? Maybe 2013, 2014.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I got rear-ended while I was waiting for another car to turn in front of me. And I got hit pretty hard. Whiplash, had to go to physical therapy, all of that stuff. And those first couple of days of getting into your car again is, there's like that visceral fear. Like, I don't want to go through that again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want something bad to happen to me.
Yeah. I mean, those memories are still very, very fresh.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, your life takes a big turn when something traumatic happens. When there's a shooting in your neighborhood, in your apartment complex. If there's a death, an unexpected death in your family. A car accident, something else traumatic. And so I wanted to start with you and talk about, like, fear. How does fear affect you personally?
Well, fear is one of those things, it's fight or flight at its basis, at the base of it, it's fight or flight. And those instincts kick in. So your adrenaline starts rushing. You start, everything is turned to 11 when you're afraid, like in these sudden moments, things going on like that. So whenever I get fear, it makes me nervous and fidgety. I'm very tense. Like I feel trapped almost. You feel kind of trapped with where you're at. And I have this just overwhelming desire to go somewhere, do something else, get out of wherever I'm at, no matter what, even if it's, sometimes if it's an irrational fear, like if I'm just thinking and I start thinking about something and it makes me afraid, or I remember something, and I'm like, oh gosh, and it kicks in, and it's, it's similar to the way I relax. Whenever I get kind of anxiety about something, it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing, at least for me it is. And so they both kind of go hand in hand with the reaction. And I just get, I get to where I don't want to, it's one of those things where I'm afraid. I battle inside my head with either wanting to run away from it or to figure out the problem and get past it.
Right.
And so, but I'm juggling between those two things. I can't decide. You're sitting in the supermarket. Do I want Honeycrisp or do I want Granny Smith? I don't know. You pick. I don't know. Mm-hmm. You're just kind of like, and you just drop both of them.
Yeah.
And then you get an orange instead or something.
Yeah. And so, thinking about a situation where, there was a crime happens in your neighborhood and now you're afraid to go outside or by yourself,
Yeah.
Or you've gotten hit by a car and now you have to drive to work and you're afraid that this is going to happen again. Or every time you touch the brake, that feeling of utter fear just hits you,
Mm-hmm.
And so the choice comes into play is like, what do you do with it? How do you handle it? How do you face this, or do you face it is the other part of it.
Yeah.
I know of a lot of people who have just kind of gotten into a situation with a traumatic experience where the fear is so visceral that you just cannot function. It's like, becoming an agoraphobic where you can't go outside because you're too afraid of what might happen if you left your house. And so, but I kind of equate this. You're gonna have to go with me with a little bit with this one, but I think it kind of equates this. When you've had a death in the family, so I look at it from a perspective of, I've lost quite a few of my relatives when and they were younger, like they weren't like elderly or long-term illness or anything like that. Very sudden deaths, very unexpected, and in their 50s and 40s, and that itself is very, very traumatic. And you try to deal and understand the world as it is now. And I remember those feelings of like having to, like, everything stops, everything changes. You have to just kind of change everything. I had to travel home from when I was living in Wisconsin. You know, everything changes, everything stops. And I watched the world around me continue to turn, and everybody going about their day and everybody functioning like they have normally, nothing is wrong. And I sit there and go, how can you be normal right now? Nothing is normal right now. In my mind, and that, you know, and it feels truly like you will never feel normal again. And so take that into consideration if, you know, thinking about a traumatic experience. You feel like this is never going to be normal again. And inevitably, it will be. It does become normal again. You know, time passes and things move forward and life goes on and you go on, you move forward and you move into life again. And it doesn't have that traumatic edge that, like, how can, you know, everything feels like it stops. It starts moving again. So it's just a matter of allowing you time to absorb the change and the traumatic experience, to accept it, to understand it, and then feel okay about moving forward in your life. You know, you can't, you know, you can, like, if it were something like Mammoth's experience, like, you could theoretically never leave your apartment again for your own safety. I mean, you could, theoretically, that could happen. Is it feasible for you? Probably not.
Yeah.
Because you have to work. You have to get groceries. You know, yes, there are other ways you can do that. You can work from home and have everything delivered, but it's pretty unlikely that you would function normally, never leaving your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
The whole being able to work with others would or be around others kind of helps.
Yeah.
Too, because, you know, that's if you have that, what is it, agoraphobia is fear of the outside?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fear of leaving your home.
Yeah. Other than that, because that's a whole thing, you know, being, you know, if you're not quite to agoraphobia, but being around other people is a great way to cope with fear and with things that happen to this, being reassured by others that you trust and that have been through similar circumstances. Like, you know, that's why they have meetings for people that, you know, that are going through hard times, because they got other people that are dealing with the same thing, you know, because there's a whole host of events in our lives that touch us in this way. You know, one of the biggest ones that came to my mind was September 11th. I know a lot of, you know, some of us are out there are too young to remember it, but I was 18 when it happened. Yeah. I was in my freshman year of college, and that happened, and just the fear, the disconnect from reality, like you were saying, is like, but that was to an even greater degree because a lot of people were in the same boat. They were disconnected because it was so different. And like the world was different in that point. It was very unsure. No one knew what was going on. There were no planes in the air for like 5 or 6 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a crazy time driving. I drove home, and there was hardly any traffic. I drove an hour back to my parents' house, and there was hardly anybody on the road. It was just it was like you were out of sync with reality, because things, like, they weren't moving, and it was a very uneasy feeling. And I know that's kind of in a roundabout way similar to what you were saying when you have fear. And, you know, you have a death in the family, especially someone close by, and you see your friends, you see your coworkers, and they're going about their lives at the same speed that they always did and that you used to. And you're like, why isn't the world a worse place without this person? For me, it is. I love this family member. I love this friend. I love this pet. And now I have to go on without them. Why are you guys not affected? You know, and you know, it's a selfish thought in the moment, because everybody in their journey has had something like that happen, to where they've had these things happen to a degree or not. When you're talking about kind of apartment violence, it reminded me of when we were in college. My wife and I lived in the same apartment complex, but in different buildings. And there was a gentleman upstairs from her that was a little bit unhinged and went crazy. I think he was drunk too, and and the police tried to break down his door, and he tried to jump out of his second-story window, but he broke on it, fell on it, and it like cut his stomach real bad, and so he's bleeding over the balcony onto the front of her apartment. And he's running around with no clothes on, so he's probably on drugs, and he's running around. He has stuff, and he's bleeding all over the place and all this stuff. And she's sitting in the house petrified. She doesn't know what to do.
Right.
And I'm at class, and I come back, and by then the police have already kind of been there. I can still see blood on the ground. But that made me that made me so afraid for where she was in that apartment. I mean, I was in a different building, but it could have happened anywhere. And you know what? I mean, there's all those things go in your head. Well, what if he had bled on her, and if he had a disease, what was this going to happen? What if he got mad, like tried to bite her, or tried to break into her apartment? I mean, good Lord, there's and if you're not careful, you get crippled by this what if thing, because you're already afraid. Mm-hmm. And then the fight or flight kicks in, and it's it's a mixture of the both that kind of triggers all of these, what if scenarios, and you sometimes you don't even know what to do.
Yeah. And so, the number one thing to stress here is that in any traumatic experience like that, getting professional help, if you need it, is okay.
Absolutely. 100%.
If when I was in school, when I was in high school, there was a girl with leukemia who passed away in our senior year. And they actually brought in counselors for us to help us through the grieving process.
They do with us too.
Yeah, and because it is, there is no shame in getting help after a traumatic experience. To call a crisis helpline to say, I'm really scared. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid to leave my house. I'm afraid, to sleep at night. Traumatic experiences can change you. And if you don't deal with the feelings, you don't deal with the emotion, it can really, really change you for the worse, and change you so that you live in fear for the rest of your life. Yeah. And, the healthy reaction is to most definitely have an emotional reaction, to be upset, to be scared, to be emotional, to be stressed out, to have post-traumatic stress. It's all there. Mm-hmm. So, but you said something earlier that I wanted to touch on a little bit more. You talk about like 9/11. Talk about even November, this past November, and the election. And there were, those I believe are two in very different ways, but similar in the fact that there are tremendous numbers of people that are feeling the same trauma and stress and fear at the same time. And really, and deeply, deeply afraid. And in a situation where you may lose a loved one, a family member, a pet, you're kind of dealing with that alone. I think that there's a big difference for people who are all kind of dealing with the same fear at the same time.
Yeah.
Versus you kind of working through your own situation on your own. In good and bad. Like, I watched a lot of the reaction. I mean, obviously we just had this happen not so long ago with the election. Not to get political, I'm talking about that a lot of people have been very, very, very scared and afraid and stressed out and worried about their future together. And it can be empowering to know that other people share your fear. And it can be isolating and very much echo chambery to keep spinning the same stuff over and over again. To keep, those who are kind of stuck in fear perpetuate others' fear.
Yeah.
And that is something to really keep in mind.
It really is
scary.
Yeah. It really is, because, you have a lot, when you have a group of people that are afraid of the same thing, you do find comfort in the fact that others are feeling the same. But you're right in that you run the chance of an echo chamber and a mob mentality and a us versus them, to the point where it goes on way too much and way too far.
Yeah.
And especially in things like in political things, if you keep surging through that groupthink all together, you dehumanize other people that may have a differing view. And you get aggressive and you get hateful and spiteful, and you forget that in the end, you're all going in the same direction. You all want what's best for the whole group. People have different ideas, and that used to be okay. But because of the whole spinning of you spinning your tires with this fear, and it doesn't help that people in power and people with great influence and people with a great audience keep spinning stuff over and over on either side.
Right.
It does not help.
It doesn't
at all.
And
that's the big problem. That's the big problem that you run the risk of falling into when you all have this fear together, is that sometimes rationality and a more level-headed approach gets lost in the thunder of that fear.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see.
It is sad to see. And I find that there are certain people, especially in social media circles, there's a lot of people who like to retweet every little political, like the same topic, but being said by, 5 different people or 5 different news outlets on the same topic, and having to retweet every single one of them. And I have a really, yes, I agree with that person. I agree that this is a bad situation that you are retweeting about. But over time, it is debilitating. It's hard to keep seeing it. It's hard to keep reading it. And then there's the other side of it, the other part where it's like, I'm going after things in my life that make me happy. I'm focusing on the people that matter, my friends, my family, my community, my job, my cats, my chainmail crafting. And I've been just pushing and throwing my energy into that, and maybe not getting so up in arms about everything else right now, because it feels just like I can't handle all of that anymore. You know?
Yeah, there's only so much that people can handle, and it's not your job to worry about everything. Not one person can't move a mountain by themselves.
Right.
So, yes, the mountain is there. Okay, well, I need to feed my family. I need to do this. I need to do that. If I can help chip away at that, okay. But it's not my responsibility to do it by myself. And anyone that tells me that I'm less of a person, or that I should be worrying about this thing when I don't, that's your worry. That's not my worry. I'm not sticking my head in the sand.
Right. Well, the mountain is there, and the mountain is there, and you are afraid of what it will do. But you're not staying focused on only the mountain for every part of your day.
Yeah.
Every part of your life is not consumed with the mountain in this analogy. And so that's when it becomes unhealthy. That's, when that fear of leaving your house is the only thing that you can think of over everything else. That is not healthy. When it's the fear of what our government may or may not do right now, and that's all you think about, you can't sleep, you can't eat, you're losing contact with the people that you care about because you can't talk about anything else but that, because you feel like if you don't talk about it, then you're not doing enough, you're not changing enough, you're not trying to make the mountain move or make it go away or make it get smaller. Those are the things that are unhealthy. Those are the things that will hurt you and hurt others around you. And that mountain that sits right there is anything, but it's fear. In its essence, it is fear. And I find that I'm healthiest is that I know the mountain is there. I know that it's a bad thing, but right now I can't control it. I can control the things in my life and the people that I surround myself with, and I can if the mountain is our politics situation, I can call my senators and to make a difference that way,
Yeah.
or my
Yeah.
Republican or my representatives and call them and make a difference that way. But
Yeah.
but
then
it's
you've
gonna be
done your
there.
part.
Right.
Yeah, then you've done your part, and that can help curb the fear. And in kind of in that sort of way, like in Mehmet's situation, what are some things that he could do if he were to experience this debilitating fear? Yes, it's true that the thing that happened to them could happen to you. It could happen to all of us, any of us, at any time. We're in a shooting gallery of positive and negative possibilities every day.
Yep.
But what do we do about it? Well, we can curb as many as we can. So there's things that, that someone in Mehmet's situation can do. You could, if you felt so inclined, you could take some training and get a method of protection, be it, do your own firearm thing if you want to, if you can where you live, or take some extra precautions with your security stuff. Make sure you lock your door every night. Is there anything else you could do? Make sure your car is locked. Don't go out at weird hours when there's people that you don't know around. There's precautions you can take that will help curb the fear because you're addressing it. You're not dominating it. You're kind of taking some of the control back by saying, yes, this thing could happen. But, and it's almost like we've talked before about when you're having this freak out moment, let yourself have the freak out moment for a minute. Okay, you freaked out. Where do we go forward?
Right.
And so you feel the fear. Now, what am I going to do to conquer it and beat it back as much as I can within reason?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things you can do. There's, you could talk to the manager of your apartment complex and say, hey, what are you guys doing to address things like this?
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys thought about it? And kind of let them know in the same way you would talk to your senator or representative, talk to the person in charge in your situation. So in that case, it would be the landlord and say, hey, I've got some concerns, here's my concerns. I'm just wanting to know how you guys feel about addressing it.
Yeah.
And that will give you a little bit of peace of mind. And so, knowledge is power, and fear is the absence of knowledge in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. The fear of the unknown is huge. So what can you do? You can learn. You can gain some knowledge of that, and it gives you some of the power back.
Yeah. Fear is also an absence of control. And if you're new to the show and you haven't heard the mantra that I use is, when I'm afraid of something or when I'm really anxious about something, this is something that I've learned over time, is that I will set aside 5 minutes and just say to that fear, have your way with me. What are you afraid of? Feel the fear. Acknowledge it. Say it out loud. Let it consume you for 5 minutes. And then you turn back on it and say, okay, it gave you your time. Now what am I going to do about it?
Yep, you're still here.
Yep. And, because we spend so much time running away from what we're afraid of and or pretending it doesn't exist. And it sits there in the corner of the room and it nags you as you're in the shower. And, when you're driving in your car, sometimes it keeps you up at night. Doesn't let you sleep. And if you don't acknowledge it and you don't speak to it and you don't allow it to have its moment with you, then it will stay there. And so, and I've had so many moments where I've just had that crippling, I've just, okay, bring it, crippling fear, let's go. And it's terrifying. And then once I've had that chance to just acknowledge it, then I can say, okay, I've felt the fear. Now what am I going to do to fix this? Or to acknowledge it, or to work through this, or, that kind of thing. And I got to tell you, it works more times than it doesn't. So, and if you don't know what you're afraid of, but you just feel afraid, I use the I wish method. And the I wish method is to say, when you're not sure what's wrong, when you're not sure, just say something like, I wish I could just, and it just starts coming out usually when you start saying I wish, because you start hearing what it is you wish for. And then if you dig further, so I wish I could just sleep at night. Well, why can't you sleep? I wish I knew I wish it wasn't so, I wasn't awake at 2:00 in the morning. Okay, well, why are you awake at 2:00 in the morning? I don't know. I just wake up and I'm thinking about, the move coming up. I wish that I didn't have to think about the move coming up. Like and then it starts coming out, you know, it's crazy how it works. We just have to keep, and so I call it the I wish method. This is not a psychological method. It's just a Jules method, but it seems to work.
It's like self-interrogation almost.
Yeah. Like you have to like keep questioning yourself until you break down, you know, but the I wish kind of gets into the visceral of what it is that you want. And it may be very, very generic at first, and then you start breaking it down. So, I don't know, just give it a try and see if it works for you, because I found that it does work for me. Like, just when you are on the surface when you say I wish, and then you dig and dig and dig until you get into the actual core. So,
yeah.
Let's see. So we talked about fear in general, how you cope with fear in your everyday life and facing your fear. Yeah. I mean, in that too. I think I covered everything that I had on the list, but did you have anything else?
Well, it's, excuse me. It's very tough sometimes when you have this fear, because I know we've had fear of danger and of death of close family members and stuff like that. So that with all of these different fears, you have to treat them slightly differently because they're coming from greatly different sources. I mean, my fear of getting in a car accident is very different than fear of just plain old death and what I'm going to do when, you know, my grandparents pass away or when my mom and dad die. I mean, that's going to be awful, and I'm not going to be the same after that. But do I let that fear hurt me between now and then, or do I make sure I go take every chance to see them? You know, my fear of my pets dying is a real one.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we've talked about it on the show when we've lost our animals, and it's tough. But what my fear is I make sure that I make the most of what I have until I don't have it.
Yeah.
So I'll let the cat spend, like earlier when Pixie got into my room, my bedroom, when she wasn't supposed to. I took some time and really just paid attention and made sure that I made those moments last, because when they don't, I'm not afraid of it, because I said, no, I'm not afraid that, you know, you have this fear in your thoughts that I didn't take the time.
Yeah.
And you have regret, which is another thing. Regret is very similar to fear. It's regret's more like fear in a past tense.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I'm afraid I didn't do these things, you know, but if you are proactive in those ways, if you have the fear beforehand, you can address it, and then you won't get the grief on the back end.
It's true.
So that's kind of another thing, you know, and fear is a good thing. It's built into us for a reason.
Yeah.
So fear is good when properly applied and of proper duration.
Yeah.
But it's when it gets too much or too long or goes on, that's when you really have the problems.
Yeah. I just wanted to acknowledge one of the things that you said, and I think it's good this is a separate topic, but one of the things that you talked about was something related to disaster thinking, where you're constantly thinking about what will happen when my pets are no longer with me, when my parents pass away, when my grandparents pass away, and that spiral that you go down to a disaster thinking. In that sense, it's one way, and then another one is, what if I get on a plane and what if it crashes, and what happens if I don't make it to my connection, and oh my gosh, you know, it's like all that's stuff that's a little bit more related to anxiety. But there's the disaster thinking that can come with traumatic fear, and so it's something, if you are living constantly in a state of thinking about the worst that can happen all the time and being like freaked out to the point of just like total anxiety, that's something you probably need to have a discussion with a professional, because it can be debilitating. And it's hard. But the world keeps moving forward in the face of a traumatic experience, and things that don't feel normal anymore will feel normal again in time. It's just the matter of making sure that you are acknowledging the emotion and making sure that you're not allowing the emotion to drive your actions in a negative format, to push you in a direction that you aren't able to heal and aren't able to face what you need to face in order to feel like you're normal again. And it's okay to feel normal again. It's like, you know, that's one of the scariest things for people after a traumatic experience is like, this happened and now I'm just kind of like going about my normal life again. And this happened and I should be honoring and acknowledging and living in the moment that this happened. And it's like, no, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, you give it its time, but don't be held back by guilt.
That's right.
Of, you know, do I really deserve to go back to normal after what happened?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. It takes time, but yes, you do.
Yeah, that message is very loud and clear for a lot of the folks who have been dealing with the traumatic fear after the election. I think it's, you know, a lot of people are feeling guilty about getting back to normal life. And that is okay. It is okay to live your life, to move forward, and to function like a normal person, even when you're afraid and you don't know what's going to happen. And, you know, just don't be afraid to live your life.
Yeah. You know, the crazy thing about not knowing what's going to happen next, none of us do. We're all in that boat.
I know.
None of us know what's coming down the way.
I know it.
As much as I love time travel, I can't tell you what's going to happen. None of us can. So we're all in that boat.
That's
so
very true.
If you get tied up with it, just remember we're all there with you in that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So good luck with your fears in life, and good luck moving forward. We will be here and to provide you with the normalcy that we try to do, except for like, you know, changing our day by one day for 1 day for 1 week. But, you know, normalcy ensues.
Don't be afraid that we're going to change to Wednesday next week. It's perfectly normal.
It's perfectly normal just for this
perfectly
week.
Normal. Yeah.
And we thank you guys for any feedback you'd like to send to us as well. You can send that to questions@taurenThinkTank.com. You can send us information on Twitter at TaurenThinkTank. And you can go to Facebook if you'd like, facebook.com/TaurenThinkTank, or our Discord, which is a great place for people to give us some conversation. And that is on tinyurl.com/TTTchat2.
And thank you for the topic, Mehmet. And we're glad you're okay and that nothing bad happened to you.
Agreed. Most definitely. Thank you. And we're glad you're safe. So... So we will move from a little bit more serious topic to a little bit more fun topic, and that is our Tell Us One Thing section for this week.
We read your submissions because reading your mind would just be creepy.
So I picked the questions this week, and
and
I swear to you, I didn't intend them to be kind of in the same vein. But
I was going to say, there's a theme going on here.
There's a website that I've been finding really good conversation questions on. And so I found these two questions and I was like, oh, I really like these two questions. And then I realized, oh, they're kind of the same. They're kind of the same and not. So it's pretty, then they gave us some really, really excellent answers. So question 1, Marconin, what old person thing do you do?
Oh, man. This one's, you know, this one's a little, it was kind of tough, but it was kind of not thinking about what it would be for me. One of them for me is these darn kids and their awful music. It's just music these days ain't as good as it used to be. You know, back in the good old days of the 90s and the 80s and the 70s and then the 60s and then before. But yeah, I love music. Y'all know this. I love music, but there's some of the stuff these days I like. But it's like I turn on pop radio and I start listening and I'm like, this is garbage. What is this? What is this? This is a person talking over a poor excuse for a drum machine. This isn't even hip hop.
I know.
You're not even rhyming. What are you do? Is this the spoken word radio station? What are you doing here?
The auto-tune is what gets me. Auto-tune is the worst. I can't stand that.
Yeah, well, for me, there's three levels of auto tuning. There's the auto tune where it's minor correction, where you can't really tell, and then you've got where it's intended for the just for a slight creative enhancement. So for other thing, not quite. What's his face? What's the guy that does that? Shoot, I'm totally blanking on his name.
It's not
The
Bruno
guy who
Mars,
does.
is it? No, not Bruno Mars.
No, it's the. Shoot, he even plays Overwatch and he streams it. What's his name?
Oh,
Shadow,
T-Pain.
T-Pain, yes.
Yeah,
T-Pain is
T-Pain.
in the third category where it's just cranked up all the way to 11. It's the T-Pain effect and all that.
Yeah.
I like it when it's in the middle because because I listen to a lot of electronic music and a lot of people will think it's repetitive and all, there's different tastes, but in some of the audio I can hear it, and it's just because of the genre it's made in, because it sounds, the texture sounds right and it matches with everything else.
Yeah.
But I'm a big sucker for just good music, no matter what genre it is. And by good, I mean they put in some work, some thought, and some creative feeling behind it. And I don't hear a lot of that anymore. Not a lot. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the old person thing I do.
Yell
I
at
was
the
trying to think
music.
of something else. I don't yell at it really. I just kind of like, this is awful. What is this? And change it.
Beyonce says,
So-
I had the T-Pain microphone where it auto-tunes your voice, and when you speak into it, it was awesome. My God, that must be the most annoying thing in the world.
Annoyingly fun, you mean?
No, just annoying.
Yeah. Well, I think that, and the only other thing is like when I get up in the morning, like everything pops and creaks and cracks. So like every time I start to walk, it's like, oh, there's the left hip. Oh, there's the right hip. Oh, there's my shoulders and my elbows and everything. So that's kind of the other thing.
Okay. Well, that's just
What about-
aging, though. I mean, it's not.
That's just aging. That's not really old person, but so I guess the music thing would be more. So yeah.
Well, I can tell you what my old person thing is.
Yeah.
And it's really, I think it's hysterical, and I don't really care. I eat dinner at like 4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh yeah.
It is such an old person thing to do. And I used to get so much crap for that. Like I'd be hungry at like 4:30, and I used to get so much crap for that. Like, how can you frickin' eat dinner at 5 o'clock? That's stupid. And I'm like, no, I'm hungry. Like, I am hungry. I want to eat dinner now.
Yeah.
I ate my dinner today at 4:30 because I was hungry. And so now that I am single and I can live alone and I can eat whenever the hell I want, I am like, it's 4:30 and I'm having dinner and no one can make fun of me. And, and I don't care.
Yeah.
So that is
Oh, that
my
is
old
funny.
person thing. And Nevermore is like,
Hey.
so at BlizzCon we were actually having dinner, not lunch. It's true. I think we were eating lunch around 2 o'clock. So that was my dinner.
Yeah.
Uh,
I get hungry around that time too.
they're making fun of me in the chat room, which is fine because I know this is an old person thing and I live alone and I can do whatever I want. So,
Yeah.
eh. We asked you guys what your old person thing was. Carolina Pop said, clip coupons and not use them. My grandma is infamous for doing this, and then she gets mad when she goes to use it, and it's been expired for a few months, just like me.
That's a good one. Crushinator says, I tuck in my golf/polo shirts. It started just to look more professional at work, and now it's all the time. No tucked in shirts yet, though. I'm not that. Oh, no tucked in t-shirts yet, though. I'm not that old.
See, and my dad is still the guy who wears the white undershirt under a t-shirt.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
like that is an old person thing for sure. Dad, I love you, but you know it's old. And Eli CTR says, when I'm aggravated by other folks' poor driving habits, I act like a Pandaren. Slow down.
Slow down.
Probably just yelling at the outside of his car window. At the same
Oh,
time.
yeah. You kids.
Damn kids.
Let's see. Torek says, I have an addiction to Werther's Originals.
Oh,
Candies.
yes. Yes.
Those are tasty, though. I can't fault you for that.
They are good.
They do have an old person feel to them. But
They do. They're very much grandma's purse. Like, yeah.
yeah.
Or the candy dish on their
The candy dish
on their
on
kitchen
the living room table.
Or the
Yeah.
living room table. Yep. Kazrick says, easy. I'm in bed by 9 p.m. Yes, 9 p.m. almost every day and up before most everyone at 4:30 a.m. even on the weekends. Yeah, that's an old person thing for sure.
Yeah, I can't do that. I like the night. Navox, I think it's I saw this one before the show and I loved it. Navox says, I live in Florida.
He wins this whole question thing, Nav. That is amazing. I love
Winner.
And Ben the Mage says, I make old man noises when I get up in the morning. Think about Carl's morning routine and up, and that's essentially me.
Yep. And then the lovely Jayonce says, if I've been sitting for a while, like at the movies, I make a slight groany noise when I get up. I'm guilty of that.
I do that too, and it's not groany.
Jesus.
It's like, oh God.
Oh, I got it. Oh, yeah. I was in the car for like 2 hours driving today, and I was talking to the guy with me. I was like, man, I can't wait to get out of this car and stretch, just to get out. And we're like, geez, everything's popping.
So then I get to question 2, which, same thread of mine. What's your back in my day
Man, there's a whole host of things.
There's so many.
Goodness. Oh man.
You want me to start?
So yeah, go ahead and do yours. I'm still thinking on mine.
Okay. So back in my day, when you wanted to go find your friends, you got on your bike and you rode over to their house to go to their house and ring their doorbell. And then when their mom said that they weren't home and maybe they were over at somebody else's house, you rode over to the other person's house to see if they were around to play. There was no like calling them on the phone or texting them to say where they were. You went out and you found people because that's how you did it. So
Yeah.
I was just like, man, back in my day, that's how we found people. And everyone just said, that's just called stalking Jules. That's why it stopped.
Oh, gee.
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
That is funny.
And what did you come up with one?
Yeah. Back in my day, I had to get on my bike and ride 3 miles to the library to get on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
And we liked it.
I had to go to my computer lab in my university to go on the internet. I had to go to the computer lab because we didn't have a computer in our dorm room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now these kids got a computer in their pocket.
It's right. Library, what's that? Jay Alger said, back in my day, we didn't worry about the NSA. We had old neighborhood ladies who kept their head out the windows.
That's the truth.
It's so true. And you guys gave us some great ones. Kalani said, back in my day, I'd say that either we'd have to carry prepaid calling cards as kids so we could find a payphone to call for a ride home. Yes.
Oh,
that's
a good one.
That, for sure.
See, I never did that, but I remember calling collect.
Called collect. Yes.
Yeah, I remember doing that.
Did that too.
Carolina Pop says, back in my day, we used to play outside with our Walkmans and cassette tapes. Gasp. I remember my cassette tapes.
Oh, I had plenty of them. I wish I still had some of them. Erlina says, back in my day, we used to walk to the nearest and sometimes not so nearest corner to catch the school bus. Buses then didn't stop at every single house along a street.
Oh, yeah. Perfect No Man says, back in my day, we frosted the tips of our hairs and thought it was super cool. I remember that fad. The frosted tips. Like that. Late 90s, early 2000s. I remember that.
Nymphadora said, back in my day, we didn't have online gaming if we wanted to play games with our friends. We had to go to each other's houses.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And Caiaphon says, back in my day, payphones were all over the place and they were new. We had to listen to music on the radio and played it on a record player, in quotation marks. We'll explain it, though, if needed, to the young whippersnappers. If you don't know what a record player is.
Oh, I loved my record player as a kid. Good Lord.
The kids these days just call it vinyl.
Vinyl.
It's that thing that they're trying to pick up at the flea market for $5.
ILICTR says, back in my day, hunters needed mana and carried melee weapons, quivers, and ammo.
I still miss my wands as a mage. Broken Bones says, back in my day, we had a computer with a 33 megahertz processor and a whopping 200 megabyte hard drive. And that could only run SimCity or the early days of Warcraft. We had LAN network parties in the dorms. I did too. Or when I got a Pentium 100. Oh, that was high speed then, baby.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's so funny.
I remember those LAN parties.
LAN parties.
Those were fun.
Zytam says, back in my day, at 5 years old, I walked over a half mile to school alone. And when I got home, I had to let myself in and entertain myself with no electronic toys until my sister got home. And no one had any issues with this.
Yeah, I was a latchkey kid, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Shorel says, we had 2 landlines. So, let's see. Oh, okay. So I guess you could go BBS or go online, and then the family could still get calls.
Yep.
I had to pay for the second landline, though. That's what she says. I got you.
Broken Bone says, we have a dial-up modem. I paid $300 for 56K for a 56K modem and was excited.
Oh, man.
56K modem was like, that was the big deal. That was awesome speed.
Get out of that 28.8
Yeah.
mess. Give me the 56K.
56K modem. Are you kidding me?
Whew. I know. At Arbiter Fox says, back in my day, if your friend was not home, you rode around the whole town looking for them. Ah, the times before cell phones.
Yes, we are kindred spirits there.
Mm-hmm.
Nerdfishy says, we had to sit close to the TV because controllers had cords.
I didn't mention this earlier, but I finally got my hands on a Nintendo Classic Edition.
Yes, you did.
And those cords are super short. super short. I forgot about it until Nerdfishy's comment. I made sure to get the extension cord though, because I was like right up next to the TV, and I felt like I was 5 again playing it.
Sitting
like,
on the floor.
I know. I was sitting cross-legged on the floor, just looking up. I was like, oh, memories.
That's hilarious.
And, yeah. And finally, at RJ Sketch says, back in my day, we had to listen to music on vinyl, cassettes, or record it on the radio and pray for no interruptions. Yes, that was totally me. Totally me. They had 80s at 8 on one of the Memphis stations growing up, and I would have my tape player from 8 to 9 trying to record songs that I liked, because I love those 80s songs.
Yes.
Right there with you, buddy.
Yes, and when you made a mixtape for your friends and you wanted to catch that one song on the radio, and man, if you did not have it like paused and triggered it up so that you could start recording and miss the front of the song, oh, it was so frustrating because you didn't know when they would play it again.
Yeah, and you didn't know the DJ was talking about like the next, we're going to be out at the Turnpike Ford Chrysler Mercury dealer this weekend. Get your free T-shirts and hot dogs, and oh, by the way, here's this song, and you missed the first 20 seconds of the song.
Yeah, because they're talking over the intro of it.
Yeah, they're doing the lead in. I'm like, would you? I just want to hear Thomas Dolby's "She Blind to Me with Science" from beginning to end with no interruptions.
And I want to record it on my tape player.
That really was me.
Yeah.
I called in when I was like 11 and requested that song. Because I loved it. I couldn't help it. And they were nice. They made a joke at me for being so young, but they played it.
That is so funny. I love it. I love it. God, yes, that was definitely back in my day too. I wonder if I still have those mixtapes somewhere.
Gotta be somewhere.
In any case, that is our Tell Us One Thing for the week. This one was really fun. And we look forward to the next ones that you guys have for us. We will put them out on Twitter and Discord. And you can give us your responses. Our Discord server, tinyurl.com/TTTchat2. And you can get it to us on Twitter at Tauren Think Tank.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do have some feedback for the week here, and so I will play that bumper.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now bring you... Whoa, that's a lot of feedback.
Do you want to read the first one?
Absolutely. This one from Perfect Nomad says, "Hey, Triple T, I had a chance to finish up show 230, and I felt connected to this topic. Every day, I play an extroverted, valiant knight with charming good looks and a golden tongue. But when I'm off the clock, I just want to be left alone, secluded and lost in Azeroth. It feels as every other day is a continuing struggle of who am I? It's as if I'm an actor playing the role of a 25-year-old guy who loves to PC game. However, I've taken it upon myself to remember how liberating it felt to surround myself with people who share common interests. With the weekly encouragement from Triple T, I've reached out to the Blizzard community, and they've welcomed me with open arms. Through that, I remembered who I am. A guy who just has a passion for video games, rock and roll, and a tenderness for the human race. Thanks, Jules and Marconin from Perfect Nomad."
It was a great letter. Thank you so much.
It was a really good letter.
That was our relation to our topic of authenticity and honesty and being who you really are, and sometimes having to play a part in the world that you live in and wearing different faces, different hats, that kind of thing. Yeah, I think that topic did touch a couple people that listened to the show. We really do appreciate that feedback as well. We are also going back a show further, talking about the hobby and career passion topic. And this letter comes from Etrius. He says, "Triple T, Etrius here. I've been thinking about a few of the discussions you guys have had lately regarding hobby and career passion topics. I think Marconin and I have similar situations where we don't love our jobs, but they meet the needs we have, and we like it well enough. I don't hate my job, but I can't see myself in a similar place 5 years from now. It isn't necessarily what I went to school for, but there's some overlap. I like the relation of passion to sacrifice. My wife is currently at home with our toddler, but for a few years before that, she was a school teacher, and her passion was for teaching middle school kids. Putting that amount of work, even after hours, to invest in kids who will look back and say that they were the worst years of their educational career, if not their life, that's the passion. That is passion, especially for Oklahoma teacher pay. I think that there's another kind of passion that you can have for your work, though. Some people can't fully pursue their career dreams full time, whether it be because of their priorities, the decisions they've made, or the hand that they've been dealt. Sometimes it's a mixture of those things. I know for me, my current job isn't something I'm passionate about, but I couldn't be more passionate about making the best life for my wife and son. And this is a job that gives me a decent amount of time with my family and allows my wife to stay home and raise our son, not to mention trying to pay off debt and save for his college. I've got a heck of a lot of passion for making that happen, and I couldn't afford that if I had pursued work that was as fun as my hobbies are. Don't get me wrong, following your dream career is a noble, respectful aspiration, and there's a part of me that will always be envious of those who are able to do that, but I have circumstantial priorities elsewhere. Thanks for the food for thought. Shout out to all the passionate workers out there. May we one day achieve both kinds of passion, at least before we retire. Best regards, Etrius."
That was a great letter, Etrius. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I know that sometimes I get kind of a tunnel vision in a way because I am like driven forward. Like when there's something I'm passionate about, I will go in everything I've got and I'll just put everything I have into it. And so, you know, but I have been very lucky And so, you know, it's sometimes hard to remember that I am very lucky, and that not everybody is afforded the same ability to go after that type of like laser focus that I have.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you guys so much for your feedback, and you guys can send that into questions@taurenThinkTank.com is our email address. We have a couple slash moves, and in the chat room here is your warning for any slash moves that you want to throw in at the end here. Start us off, sir.
First one up is from Memeth. Says a major slash move to Atla Grayson, who stayed on voice chat with me after the shooting in my apartment complex. He kept me calm.
That's great.
Definitely.
From Severa, slash moo to, oh boy, this is going to be an emotional one, so brace yourselves. My uncle for being so great with his cancer this last year. To Zandara for putting up with my crap and leading a wonderful team that I am proud to be a member of. To Kaiafin and Memeth for being stronger than you realize and reminding me that I am strong as well. For everyone who made a mention of my coloring projects. Finally, to those who we have loved and lost. Ryan and my aunt, I really love you and miss you bunches already. Just take care of my pup She and my kitty cat Happy up there. That was a good one. That was a long one.
That was a good That was a really good one.
Yes. And slash moves to everybody who is listening to the show this week. And anybody who is going through, there's just people going through some tough stuff lately. So a slash move to all of you folks who are going through some tough times. May you smile in light and feel the love around you of those who care.
Absolutely.
Marconin.
Jules.
That's a show.
It is a show.
It's a show. We made a show, and it's quite a good one.
It is. After 5 years and 1 week, we're still doing good.
Still kicking it,
still
man.
Still doing good.
Still kicking it. It's sometimes hard to remember that, or, you know, like I can think back to when things started, and 5 years just feels like sometimes it feels like yesterday, and sometimes it feels like it was so long ago. So
I know.
Yeah.
Weird how that goes.
A lot has changed in 5 years, but a lot has also stayed the same. We still have the most wonderful community out there. And yeah, we're just going to keep on keeping on for you guys. Because, man, it's fun to do this every week.
Oh, yeah. The whole day at work, I'm just thinking about, I can't wait it's going to be a good day. I got Triple T today. Awesome. Always look forward to it.
Gonna be a good day. Anything you want to talk about before we head out of here?
Goodness, I'm not sure. It's been a good week. This is a great way. This is actually like the middle of my work week now. So it's a good way to hit the halfway mark with everybody out there. So just hope you guys have a wonderful week. Also, slash mood to 2020 site. Her birthday's today, so happy birthday to you.
Yes, that's right. Happy birthday, 20.
We're almost birthday buddies. Almost.
And a major happy birthday to our Marconin.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're all embarrassed.
I get embarrassed. Jeez.
Make sure that you guys blast his Twitter tomorrow and wish him happy birthday all over the place. He's at Marconin Wow on Twitter.
Not gonna get any work done.
Nope. Nope. And with that, we are going to bring the show to a close like we always do, like this. Tauren Think Tank is a proud member of the Signals Media All-Star Network. Find out more about the other great shows in the network by going to signalsmedia.com.
Portions of the music and sound effects heard on this show can be found at incompetech.com and freesound.org. You can find us outside of the show on our website. That's at taurenThinkTank.com, which has all of our podcasts and also information on how to get in touch with us. Do you want some cool Triple T swag? Well, I got some good news. Triple T merchandise is available again. Jules is showing off one of our wonderful designs. If you want to get a cool t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a nice mug for a cold or hot beverage, or a phone case for your fancy phone, all you got to do is just go to taurenThinkTank.com/store.
And thank you to all who support our show via Patreon. If you would like to help out Triple T, you can do so at patreon.com/Tauren Think Tank. If you want to meet other members of the Triple T community, share pictures of your pets, your creative projects, talk about our discussion topics, or ask some questions of your own, you can join our Discord server. The quick way to get there is tinyurl.com/TTTchat2.
Yes. And you can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Tauren Think Tank. You can find us at 140 characters or less on Twitter. You can find us for the show at Tauren Think Tank. You can find Jules at Jules RPG and myself, Marconin, at Marconin Wow.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, chat room, for being with us tonight and hanging out with us every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, Daylight Time. You can find us through the video stream at twitch.tv/Tauren Think Tank and our mobile audio stream through Alpha Geek Radio at tunein.alphageekradio.com. We love seeing you here with us, however you can consume our content. Marconin.
Yes, we do. Jules.
Have a wonderful birthday!
I will. It's going to be a good day.
Birthday! We'll see you guys next Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and we look forward to it. So, until next time, for myself, for Marconin, for the entire chat room, until next time, /moo, everybody.
/moo.
Tauren Think Tank. We make your problems less bad.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?
Really?
And freeze.
And freeze.
Oh, man.
Don't fear the early bird specials. Between Beyonce and Nevermore in the same chat room, my God, you guys are going to just wreck me.
Yeah.
Okay. Show titles. 5 years. Last week. Marconin is one of those filthy morning people. Fear can be good. Back in my day, auto-tune is torture. She blinded me with Warcraft. No. And fear itself. Oh.
But Jules, you have to. It's poetry in motion. And she turned her eyes to me. As deep as any ocean. I like that song a lot.
Oh, too funny. You guys, you're so silly. I don't know which one I want.
I'm either thinking back in my day or 5 years last week. Because that's just funny. But, you know.
I like 5 years last week, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. Let's just do that one. We totally destroyed Draven's original title. There we go. I will murder you, Butt Fortress.
You can get some cool swag on that Geek Asylum.
Oh!
Hey, that's what he said. I just read the chat room.
No, Draven, they don't sell. Depends.
It depends. Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's too funny.
Oh,
that's
well,
okay.
Mammoth, we're glad to have you while you were here, buddy.
Yeah, and it'll switch back for you, I'm betting. So we'll be around.
Yeah, and you can always you know where to find us.
Nevermo.
Nevermo.
Nevermo. Nevermo. You guys are so funny. Oh, so funny, you guys. You make me giggle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my I actually got an early birthday present in the form of VIP tickets to see Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning. Yeah, they're doing a tour in the fall, and and I kind of gave my wife the rundown, like how to prep for BlizzCon tickets.
Yeah.
I gave her the short version. And I was like, you've got to be there, ready to go. You got to hit refresh. You got to do all this stuff. And she was able to get us front row tickets for the show in Dallas.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we'll get a chance to do a meet and greet and sit there and talk to him. And I'm excited because they're probably my top favorite YouTube show, or one of the top ones.
That is awesome.
And yeah, well, we got to see Epic Rap Battles of History a couple of years ago when they were on tour. They came to Little Rock, and so now we get to go see Rhett and Link, and it's just I mean it's 2 weeks, but it's 2 weeks before BlizzCon too.
Yeah.
So I'll already be ready to go.
Yeah.
And yes, Draven, I still need to get those HOTS games in before Sunday. We'll have to do that. At least the first 5, because I need to get the Overwatch mount.
Yeah.
If I don't end up getting the 10, then that's okay. I mean, loot boxes are loot boxes, so I will.
Well, since you guys are being feisty, I'll give you a funny story before we go. Since you're being snarky, I told this to Marconin before we went live. So today I thought I might be having a heart attack. Turns out it was not a heart attack at all. Turns out that I had done something really stupid. So Spike, my kitty, had gotten this pain medication that they concentrated into a gel format. It's actually a concentrated dosage of pain medication that I'm supposed to rub into his ear. And, I was smart and I put gloves on and I, administered the medication to Spike today. And as I went to reach for him, he turned his head and kind of jumped, and I thought I had gotten him, and I apparently did not. Later on in the morning, he's coming by for some pets, and I'm petting him, and my hand comes back like wet. And I'm like, what is that? I didn't even think anything of it. Like, was he cleaning himself? Did he get some water on him? And a couple hours later, I'm sitting at my computer and I'm like, I'm talking to Pat Crane on Discord. I do not feel right. My heart is beating weird and I'm dizzy and my mouth is all dry and my throat is dry and I feel like I'm going to pass out and I'm having a heart attack. Like, what is wrong with me? And I'm just I'm panicking. What is wrong? What is happening? Oh no. And I realized that I had administered the pain medication on my damn hand.
You drugged yourself.
I drugged myself with my cat's pain medication and thought I was having a heart attack.
This is why you don't take other people's or animals' pain medications, folks. It was written for them, not you.
I am just I was I seriously didn't. I felt so bad. I felt weird. And I'm like, there is something not right. And it came out of nowhere. I'm looking up symptoms of heart attack. What is this? And then I realized what I had done.
Oh, man.
So moral of the story, do not try to pet your cat when you thought that you've administered pain medication to him, but you didn't actually make it. Good Lord. Anyway, that's my funny story for the day. I'm a dork, and you can enjoy that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for your show title suggestions, by the way.
Yes, thank you. One other cool thing about my gig that I've got is that I get to go. I travel to other people's houses, and so I went to this person's house, and they had a cat. A lot of people, they'll have pets or something, and so there was this cat. She was old, and she had one eye. apparently she was born that way because I was the cat came up to my foot and was like sniffing my foot, and I put my hand down, and he's like, "Oh yeah, she's been around for a while. She was born with one eye. Her name is Winky," and she was very sweet. You could tell she was getting up there on years, and she was kind of fat, but she was very cuddly. And she, like, as soon as I kind of sat down to start working, she rolled over onto her belly or onto her back and had her belly up there, and I was like, either this is a trap or it's about to be belly rubbing time. And so I like gingerly put my hand out, and she meowed, and I was like, it's belly rubbing time. So I rubbed her belly for a second. And then she just stayed there. Yeah, and she just stayed there by me with her head up. She's like, meow, and just stayed there. And I was like, oh, she's a sweet cat. So yeah, it was that's one of the cooler parts of my job now, is I get to do that. And I got to see 2 cats today. The other one was kind of aloof, but no. No, never more. She wasn't that old.
Oh my god.
No, she was an older cat, but she was very sweet. She's very sweet. That I would not be smiling and talking about the story. I probably wouldn't even mention it if something had happened. It could have happened. It could have. You're right, but
this is your disaster thinking.
Yeah, see, disaster thinking. I'm just telling you about a cute cat.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
Good. All she wanted was one last belly rub.
Oh, you guys are terrible.
You are awful.
Oh. Well, what would you think about it when you've got like heart palpitations and you're gonna feel like you're dizzy and stuff? Like, come on. Oh, I love you guys too. Oh my god. I swear, we're gonna have to just turn the cameras on when we're at Nerdtacular and Buttress and Nevermore are in the same space, and Jayonce, because it's literally just going to be one-liners the entire time.
Yep.
You guys are just going to sign a release form. Marconin's going to bring his GoPro, and we're just going to record the whole damn thing. Yes. So many places to bury him. Oh, you guys are so funny.
Oh, jeez.
You're not super quiet, Buttress. You're snarky, snarkerston. Snarky, snarkerface. All right, lovelies. I'm gonna get the show rolling so we can post it up, and I can get some sleep. So.
Yep.
Guys. We'll see you guys Wednesday next week.
Wednesday.
Have a wonderful week. Enjoy. And slash moo, everybody.
Slash guys. Love y'all.
Moo.